Have you ever gazed upon a landscape so alien, so profoundly unique, it felt less like Earth and more like a fantastical dream? Imagine a place where towering stone fingers pierce the sky, their tips sculpted by millennia of wind and time. Now, imagine an entire civilization living inside these geological wonders. Not merely beside them, not just beneath them, but carved directly into their very heart. This is the untold story of the Stone Whisperers, a civilization born from the earth itself, who sculpted not just homes, but entire cities, deep within a peculiar, otherworldly region we'll call the Sentinel Spires. For centuries they thrived, hidden in plain sight, their lives a testament to unparalleled human ingenuity and survival. Their legacy isn't built on grand palaces or monumental temples, but on the profound, almost spiritual act of subtraction. They didn't construct, they revealed. They didn't build, they unveiled. Prepare to journey into a world where mountains became homes, valleys became sanctuaries, and the very ground beneath your feet held secrets deeper than you could ever imagine. This isn't just a tale of ancient peoples, but a masterclass in adaptation, a blueprint for survival, and a stunning illustration of what happens when humanity truly merges with its environment. What you're about to discover will challenge everything you thought you knew about civilization, architecture, and the incredible resilience of the human spirit.
Our story begins millions of years ago, long before the first human hand ever touched this peculiar land. Violent geological forces ripped through the earth. Volcanoes, colossal titans of fire and ash, erupted with unimaginable power, blanketing the vast plains in a thick, swirling shroud of molten rock and fine dusk. Layer upon layer, this volcanic ejecta settled, solidifying over eons into a remarkable, pliable stone. We'll call it pyroclastic earth, a material destined to become the canvas for an entire civilization. But the earth wasn't done sculpting. The millennia that followed brought relentless winds and torrential rains. This constant erosion, an invisible artist with infinite patience, began to carve the soft pyroclastic earth. Where harder basalt caps protected underlying layers, the softer material beneath was worn away, creating bizarre, fantastical shapes. These were the Sentinel Spires, conical monoliths, some slender as needles, others broad and imposing, standing shoulder to shoulder across the landscape. They resembled a silent army, a petrified forest, an impossible collection of Earth's whimsy. To any casual observer, this land might have seemed desolate, perhaps beautiful, but certainly uninhabitable. A place of stark beauty, yes, but hardly a cradle for human settlement. Yet it was precisely this unique, almost alien geology that laid the foundation for one of the most ingenious and enduring civilizations the world has ever known. For within this soft, yet surprisingly stable stone lay the perfect, prefabricated building material. It was a blank slate, begging to be transformed, and transform it, the Stone Whisperers would.
Imagine arriving in such a landscape. Where do you begin to build? Most cultures would fell trees, quarry stone, mix mortar, and erect structures from the ground up. But the Stone Whisperers were different. Their genius lay in a radical reimagining of architecture itself. They realized they didn't need to add to the land, they simply needed to remove from it. Their approach was subtractive architecture, a philosophy that saw the mountain not as an obstacle, but as a boundless, pre-built home waiting to be revealed. With simple rudimentary tools, chisels fashioned from hardened iron, hammers and picks, they began their monumental task. Each swing of a pickaxe, each scraping motion, wasn't destruction, it was creation. They carved intricate doorways directly into the faces of the Sentinel Spires. They burrowed into the soft rock, hollowing out chambers, connecting them with narrow passages, and shaping living spaces with a precision that belied their primitive instruments. The pyroclastic earth, while solid, yielded to their will, allowing them to sculpt multi-story dwellings, storage rooms, and stables directly into the cliffsides and the towering cones themselves. This wasn't just about shelter, it was about efficiency and harmony with nature. Every discarded chip of stone was a step closer to a home. Every carved-out chamber was a functional space, perfectly integrated into the natural contours of the land. They learned the stone's whispers, its strengths and weaknesses, its veins and its patterns. They became one with their medium, truly mastering the art of living within the earth, not just on it.
From a distance, the Sentinel Spires might have looked uninhabited, or perhaps only sparsely settled. But draw closer, and a hidden world began to emerge. Tiny windows, like watchful eyes, peered out from unexpected places. Chimneys, often natural extensions of the rock, wafted smoke into the crisp air. What appeared to be natural rock faces were, in fact, the meticulously carved facades of homes. Inside these chimney homes, life thrived. Multi-level dwellings spiraled upwards within a single spire, or spread horizontally across a cliff face. Each room was a testament to ingenious design. Kitchens featured carved-out hearths and ventilation shafts that snaked upwards through the rock. Storage rooms, cool and dry, kept grains, fruits and vegetables fresh for months, preserving the bounty of harvest through the lean winter. Livestock, too, had their place, with stables carved directly adjacent to human living quarters, sometimes even beneath them, providing natural warmth in colder months. The very material of their homes offered a distinct advantage: natural climate control. The thick, insulating walls of the pyroclastic earth acted like a thermal battery. In the searing heat of summer, the interiors remained remarkably cool and inviting, a refreshing sanctuary from the sun. In the biting cold of winter, the same thick stone trapped ambient heat, keeping the inhabitants comfortably warm, far more effectively than any surface dwelling could. This wasn't just survival, it was a life of integrated comfort, built into the very fabric of their world. Imagine never needing air conditioning or complex heating systems, just the natural embrace of the earth itself.
Beyond mere dwelling, the Stone Whisperers imbued their carved world with profound spiritual meaning. As their communities grew, so too did their need for places of worship and contemplation, and again they turned to the rock. Hundreds, perhaps thousands, of churches and monasteries were painstakingly carved into the cliff faces and spires. These weren't grand, soaring cathedrals built to scrape the sky, but intimate, humble sanctuaries, their beauty found in their seamless integration with the earth. Walking into one of these sanctuary caves is an awe-inspiring experience. The silence is profound, the air cool and still. Altars, pulpits, and pews were not brought in, but carved directly from the living rock. The walls, smoothed and prepared, became canvases for breathtaking artistry. Skilled artisans, using natural pigments, created vibrant frescoes depicting sacred narratives, saints, and divine figures. These weren't mere decorations, they were visual sermons, illuminated texts for a populace where literacy might have been scarce. Remarkably, many of these frescoes survive today, their colors still remarkably vivid, telling stories frozen in time. The protective embrace of the stone has shielded them from the ravages of weather, time, and human conflict that have erased so many other ancient artworks. These cave churches became not just places of worship, but bastions of faith, symbols of hope, and centers of learning during times of hardship and persecution. They represented a defiant spirit, refusing to be driven from their beliefs, finding strength and solace deep within the unyielding earth. Yet the chimney homes and sanctuary caves, extraordinary as they were, represented only the visible tip of an even more astounding achievement. For when threats loomed, when invaders swept across the plains, when bandits plagued the trade routes, the Stone Whisperers held a final ultimate secret weapon: an entire world beneath the world.
Imagine cities not built up, but carved down. Not a single cave, but vast, multi-level subterranean complexes stretching for miles underground. capable of sheltering thousands of people, their livestock, and their entire food supply for months at a time. These were the sunken cities, engineering marvels born of necessity, testament to a collective will to survive. One such city, which we'll call the Deep Reach, stands as a chilling monument to this ingenuity. Descending into its depths feels like stepping into another dimension. You pass through deceptively narrow, unassuming entrances, often hidden amongst the surface dwellings. Then the true scale of the accomplishment begins to unfold. Levels upon levels plunge into the earth, connected by winding, sometimes claustrophobic passages. Here, entire communities lived underground during sieges. Homes were carved into the rock, just as above, but with an added sense of desperate purpose. Granaries, colossal storage chambers, were filled with enough food to sustain the population for extended periods. Wells were dug deep into the aquifer, providing a life-sustaining water supply independent of surface access. Stables, surprisingly spacious, housed livestock, their warmth contributing to the overall subterranean climate. But what truly sets these sunken cities apart is their sophisticated defense mechanisms. Imagine massive, perfectly circular stone doors, some weighing hundreds of pounds, designed to be rolled into place, sealing off entire sections of the city. These ingenious barriers could be operated from the inside, making them virtually impregnable to invaders. Every passage, every doorway, every choke point was considered and fortified, turning the very earth into an ultimate fortress.
The genius of the sunken cities extended far beyond their mere existence. They were masterpieces of ancient engineering, showcasing a profound understanding of natural systems. Perhaps the most critical challenge was ventilation. How do you sustain thousands of living beings, including animals, in a sealed underground environment without suffocating them? The Stone Whisperers solved this with an intricate network of ventilation shafts. These shafts, some plunging hundreds of feet from the surface, were not just simple holes. They were strategically placed to create natural air currents, drawing fresh air into the deepest levels and expelling stale air. It was a sophisticated passive air conditioning system, relying entirely on natural physics. This foresight ensured not only breathable air, but also helped regulate humidity and temperature, preventing the buildup of moisture and preserving stored food. Water management was another triumph. In addition to deep wells, they developed sophisticated systems for collecting and storing rainwater that permeated through the porous rock. Drainage channels were carved into floors to prevent flooding. Waste disposal, though simple by modern standards, was handled in designated areas, often leading to deep, isolated shafts, maintaining a degree of hygiene crucial for such dense populations. Community organization within these underground cities must have been highly structured. Every person had a role. There would have been designated areas for milling grain, baking bread, tending to the sick, and even rudimentary workshops for crafts vital for survival. Life during a siege would have been a test of endurance, discipline, and communal spirit, but the sunken cities provided the framework for such sustained existence.
These hidden sanctuaries weren't just places to hide. They were fully functional, self-sufficient ecosystems, meticulously engineered to prolong life in the face of existential threat. They represent a monumental triumph of collective human effort, foresight, and an unparalleled connection to the very ground they walked. Why such an extreme measure? Why build an entire civilization beneath the earth? The answer lies in the turbulent history of the region. The lands surrounding the Sentinel Spires were a crossroads of empires, a perpetual battleground where various powers clashed for dominance. Waves of invaders, fierce armies, nomadic raiders, and persecutors of dissenting faiths swept through the landscape over centuries. For the Stone Whisperers, living in such an exposed and coveted region meant constant danger. Their unique settlements, while offering some concealment, were still vulnerable to detection and attack. Many of them were early adherents of a persecuted faith,
further solidifying their need for impenetrable refuge. The sunken cities were not their everyday homes, but rather their ultimate insurance policy against annihilation. They were emergency shelters designed to disappear entirely from the sight of an approaching enemy. Imagine the sheer terror of hearing the rumble of an approaching army, the frantic rush to herd livestock, gather supplies, and shepherd families into the hidden entrances. Then the heavy scrape of the rolling stone doors, sealing off the world above, plunging thousands into the quiet, cool embrace of the earth.
For weeks, perhaps months, they would live in this subterranean world, their lives illuminated by oil lamps, their days marked by the hushed routines of communal survival. The threat of discovery was ever present, but the depth and complexity of their underground network offered the best possible defense. It was a desperate solution, but one that allowed their culture, their faith, and their very existence to endure through countless storms. So, what was life truly like for a stone whisperer? It was a unique duality, a constant dance between the sunlit surface and the shadowy depths. Most days, life unfolded in the chimney homes and fertile valleys. Children played amongst the spires, farmers tended their fields, and artisans crafted their wares. The sun warmed their faces, and the wind whispered through the strange rock formations. But always in the back of their minds was the knowledge of the world below. They were intimately familiar with the entrances, the passages, the hidden chambers. It was a skill passed down through generations, the knowledge of their subterranean refuge. When the alarm sounded, when the distant dust clouds signaled danger, there was no panic, only a swift, organized retreat. Imagine a stone whisperer waking in their carved home, watching the sunrise paint the sky orange over the spires. They would descend through a hidden passage, perhaps to collect water from a deep underground well, or to check on stored provisions. Their days might involve working in the sun-drenched vineyards, then returning to a cool, dark cave church for evening prayers, their voices echoing off the carved stone.
Their society was deeply intertwined with the landscape. The very earth was their provider, their protector, and their spiritual guide. They learned not to fight nature, but to integrate with it, to harness its power and embrace its unique offerings. This symbiotic relationship fostered a profound sense of community, resilience, and an unwavering connection to their ancestral lands, both above and below ground. The civilization of the Stone Whisperers, carved directly from the heart of the Sentinel Spires, stands as an extraordinary testament to human potential. They didn't merely survive, they thrived in a landscape that would defeat lesser spirits. Their story offers profound lessons for us today. Firstly, it's a masterclass in adaptation. In a world of constant change and uncertainty, the ability to creatively adapt to environmental challenges and external threats is paramount. The Stone Whisperers didn't wait for ideal conditions, they created them by transforming the very ground beneath their feet. Secondly, it speaks to the power of ingenuity and resourcefulness. With limited tools and technology, they achieved architectural and engineering feats that continue to baffle modern minds. Their subtractive architecture was a sustainable, efficient, and harmonious way of living, long before those concepts became buzzwords. Thirdly, it highlights the importance of community and collective action. The creation and maintenance of the sunken cities, with their intricate ventilation and defense systems, required massive coordinated effort. It speaks to a society where individual survival was deeply tied to the well-being of the whole. Finally, it reminds us of the profound human need for sanctuary and resilience. In the face of relentless persecution and danger, they found not just physical refuge, but also spiritual solace, embedding their faith deep within the earth itself. They persevered, not by conquering, but by becoming one with their environment.
Today, the Sentinel Spires stand silently, their secrets slowly revealed to those who seek them. The chimney homes, the sanctuary caves, and the entrances to the astonishing sunken cities remain, echoes of a time when humanity truly understood how to live with the earth, not just on it. These ancient dwellings whisper tales of survival, of faith, of an enduring spirit etched into stone. They invite us to reconsider our own relationship with our environment, to ponder the limits of our own ingenuity, and to imagine what truly sustainable living could look like. Their civilization may be long past, but their legacy lives on, carved into the very rocks that cradled them. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest structures aren't built sky high, but burrowed deep, hidden in plain sight, waiting to inspire future generations with their silent, stony wisdom. Don't just observe, imagine. Imagine the cool air, the hushed echoes, the immense weight of the earth around you, providing comfort and protection. Imagine the resilience, the foresight, the sheer human will. The Stone Whisperers showed us that the greatest homes aren't necessarily the grandest, but those that become an extension of the earth itself. And in doing so, they left behind a legacy more enduring than any empire built from the ground up.